All right. Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham Recha Chodash. All right. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone, Drewell. And I want to give peace, greetings, and salutations to all the Legakim, that's pushing his word in our truth and sincerity, throughout the four corners of the earth, and our brothers that's not wavering in the faith, being diligent in truth. I say shalom to you brothers, and I say shalom, to the few sisters that believe and all meekness and humbleness, I say shalom. I'm your brother Zakaria from GMS Miami Camp, and our Lord willing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham Recha Chodash, Adawan Ratazah, that means Lord willing, so Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect of the nation Israel, And my lesson today, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham Recha Kodash, it's going to base you on, the different current events that's going on around the world, man. All right, mainly what's going on with this war, all right, and how what is going to ultimately spew over to America, man. And you Americans, y'all going to feel it. You think everything is all peaceful and safety because, all right, we're over here in the West. Now this war gonna spill over, and it's already spilling over with the economy, man. So this is I'll just type in war on Google. It says war with Iran spread economic damage far beyond oil and gas markets, man. All right. The scriptures talk about. Actually, let me get this preset real quick. This book of Sirach, chapter 39, verse 1, it says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies." So what? You're going to be occupied in prophecies. All right, the men of the Lord. All right, you're going to see what's going on in the world and linking up with prophecy. As the scripture says, measure the time diligently in itself. Let me see what it says. Let me see what it says in the GNT. I never looked at it. The Good News Translation but it is different with the person who devotes himself to studying the law of the Most High. He examined the wisdom of all the ancient writers and concerned himself with the prophecies. And what we're concerning ourselves to the prophecies, because why? Our salvation is nearer than when we believe, man. So this is from the Washington Post. It says, and I didn't read it. I'm just rolling through the spirit. It says, Washington Post says war. Well, I didn't pre-read it. It says war with Iran. Say Iran, they say Iran, however they say it. War with Iran spreading economic damage far beyond oil and gas markets. It says the conflict has hit Europe and Asia harder than the United States, with rising shipping costs and energy prices, man. Going to lead to hyperinflation, which the scriptures talk about that. Let's get it. Was it Revelation 6, a black horse? Revelation chapter 6 in verse 5, it says, "And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see, and behold, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had balances in his hand." Balances represent what? Judgment. All right. And also slavery too, but judgment. All right. Verse 6, it says, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and a measure of barley for a penny. See thou hurt not the oil and the wine." So this is going into, which we're going to read in NLT. This is going into, get this, red letters. It's just going into how a day's worth of, a day's pay is going to cost a measure of wheat or a measure of barley. So imagine you working 12 hours, 8 hours, and that whole day, that money that you just made is going to cost, all right? That's how much a loaf of bread going to cost, man. We're going to read NLT. Let's see here, bear with me. My bad, Bibles. All right. It says NLT, it says, "And I heard a voice from among the four living beings say, A loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. And don't waste the olive oil and wine. That's representing the truth, the olive oil and the wine. So it says, all right, prices and things is going to go up. Shipping costs, rising shipping costs. All right. And he said, what did Trump says? All right, I'm going to get it from his mouth, man. We prove all things. What did your president says? Donald Trump. If it rise, if it look, playing that some music, man. Look at demons. This is the independent.com. It says Trump shrugs off rising gas prices to reporters. If they rise, they rise. So he don't give a care. All right, a F. All right. And you Americans, y'all gonna feel it. It says Iranian missile and drones attacks have disrupted the flow of commerce through one of the global economy most critical hubs, paralyzing much of the ocean and air traffic that carries goods between Asia and Europe, while pushing investors in faraway financial markets. All right, so that's what's going on, man. Is we still connected? Bear with me. That's what's going on, man. And it says Pentagon's announces seventh U.S. death in war with Iran. So what? And it's more than that. Lord willing, didn't cut off on me. Lord willing, because I'm using my hotspot right now. It says 500 deaths. Iran, U.S. soldiers. This is from what? AA.com. It says Iran top security official claims 500 U.S. military deaths. All right. So they saying 500. It says Iran is 4 days ago. Iran claims 500 American soldiers died in 5 days of war. So what are they saying? All right. All right, you niggas, America getting BTA. All right, what they call it? What did BTA belt the ass? All right, they getting spanked over there. All right, but they America's still powerful though. That's why the Lord, He's gonna use all these nations to shoot the missiles against this place. All right, and what did Trump tell Britain? All right, Reuters be tripping, man. Let's find another source. That's not another source. Yeah, I'm about to go. Reuters be tripping. It says, Trump, UK. Al Jazeera. It says Trump says U.S. do not need UK's aircraft carriers for Iran war. All right. It says Trump accuses Starmer of seeking to join wars after we've already won, which you haven't won this war yet. All right? You haven't won. All right? This is the beginning of sorrows, as the scripture says. Let's get that. Now I'm not going to make this lesson long. It's the beginning of sorrows. What was that? Let's see. Ooh, perfect right there. 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 17. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? So this is the prophet Ezra. All right, seeing the wars. All right, seeing what's going on, all right, with these wars. All right, what's going on in the end time. All right, the prophecies. And he said, who's going to deliver me in those days? Because the scripture says this is going to be like a time never before. Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. So this is what we're coming to. The beginning of wars, the power shall stand in fear. The beginnings of evil, what shall I do when these evils shall come? What said we just went into how the markets is messed up because of the oil. The Strait of Hormuz is shut, so that commerce with the oil going out through the different markets to go to these different countries is stopped. So everything's gonna go up. So we're in the beginning of famine, lack of bread, lack of food. Lord said his full storehouses are suddenly found empty. The beginning of death, a lot of people gonna die. They said over 1,000 people in Iran died. All right, they killing little schoolgirls. It says beginning of wars. The power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, meaning bad times. What shall I do when these evils come? How are we going to trust in the Lord? Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. For what? Correction. Verse 20, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness. You Israelites are not turning from your wickedness. You're not repenting, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So they not minding the judgments, the correction that the Lord bringing. Verse 21, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And then even then shall evils grows upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion, man. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. The earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. This is the time that we coming into, man. All right. Press TV, they just Ayatollah, his son just came in power. Because this is Iranian news right here. It says Trump Strait of Hormuz rhetoric aims to control oil prices. Iran has major surprises. Iran rejects call for ceasefire, seeks permanent end to war. Iran will continue the war until enemies back down. And what we end coming into Ezekiel 38, when the Russians going to help them. They already saying the Russians is giving them intel of where to hit American targets and Israelis targets. So man, we here, man. You know, this is just a quick update. You got Press TV. Iran deploys Lego video PR war. Wagging a dog. EU. All right. Trump claims Iran bombed his own school. Dude, delusional. All right. So yeah, it was just a little quick update, man. You know, when I come back do another one, but you know, just throw some. You know, see what's going on in this war. All right, it's only gonna get bigger. So with that, I'm gonna close out. Lord, within this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. You know, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham Recha Chodash. All right, I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstones Ruel. And I want to give up peace, greetings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, you know, that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity. Hey, Shalom Akim, keep pushing, keep it doing. Shalom.